everybody, it is your girl here, Genuinely Divine, and today we are talking about Moon in Scorpio. So those of you who are new to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. My channel is all about self-discovery through spirituality as well as astrology. So if you like things like that, go ahead and click that subscribe button. So today, talking about the moon in Scorpio. This was a very difficult video to try and do because there's so much that I want to say in the video, but I can't make this video long. What the moon represents in our birth chart is our emotions. It is our instincts as well as our reaction. That first thought that comes into your head when you're dealing with situations that make you angry, or situations that's dealing with the heart, in any situation in all actuality. But I feel like our emotions, when they get involved, is usually dealing with matters of the heart, you know, or matters of the ego, of course. So that first instinct that comes to your mind when you're upset or you're dealing with anything, that is your moon sign being activated in your birth chart. Scorpio is the 8th zodiac sign, ruling the 8th house, the house of sex, death, and rebirthing, you know, transformation. You know, the 8th house to me is like a black hole. It's like a suction hole. It's like anything that's dealing with things that are taboo, things that are hidden, things that are done behind closed doors. I feel like this is the house of the investigator. So what happens when the moon, our emotions, you know, our instincts and our reactions come into the sign of Scorpio, the sign of transformations, you know, the sign of great intensity. There's just a natural intensity about lunar Scorpios. They just tend to just naturally attract people to them like a magnet, in a sense, because again, Scorpio is like that suction hole. It's like a black hole that just pulls and it pulls, you know, it has that magnetic pull to them. But I do find that a lot of lunar Scorpios are very reserved type people. A lot of times they don't speak a lot, they don't talk a lot about superficial things. They really like conversations that are really deep, you know, and meaningful. And a lot of times, you know, even if they do have like an Aries or an Aquarius sun or Libra sun, they can still actually, you know, not, you know, be very, very talkative at first. You know, later on they can actually, after they've warmed up to you, a lot of times they can. They're usually very to themselves, you know, they don't really share a lot of information about themselves. So lunar Scorpios, a lot of times throughout their lifetime, they just really feel uncomfortable in a sense, because first of all, the moon and Pluto, they just don't really get along very well. I mean, they're just not, they don't speak the same language. And the moon and Pluto being coupled, and also at Mars here, this is a very uncomfortable position for the moon to be in a sign of Scorpio. So a lot of lunar Scorpios feel uncomfortable throughout their lifetime, especially when it comes to matters of emotions. The moon wants to be nurtured, you know, wants to be nurturing constantly, you know, and, you know, just naturally changing, you know, how it naturally needs to change. But then Pluto, transformative energy, is not constant. It's more dramatic. So it makes it very difficult for lunar Scorpios to really handle emotional type situations. And a lot of times they'll come off as being very intense, especially when they're in their romantic type relationships. A lot of times they're very selective about people that they lay with, you know, people that they get into a relationship with, you know, or have bed situations with. A lot of times, because when they actually engage in intercourse, it's actually a bonding of the soul for them. It's not just a physical act for them. It's actually a union. It's actually a marriage in terms of the real physical marriage, not just paperwork that you can get from the courthouse, but it's actually a soul tie for them. And they take it very seriously. And after this, they begin to want to possess the person, or they can become obsessed with the person that they actually had intercourse with. And this person may feel like, I'm not ready for such a serious connection, such a serious relationship. So which can kind of like scare off some of their partners because of the intensity of lunar Scorpios and how they want to move so quickly in relationships, and just they want all or nothing, you know. But I think lunar Scorpios, because they do crave intimacy, they are not going to just shut you off completely just because you're not giving your all. They're gonna actually hold on to what they can get. It's because they're feeling like they're protecting their investment in you, okay? And at some point in time, you'll come around, because lunar Scorpios, they do have a power to them where they can actually, you know, draw people in. And I feel like this stemmed from their childhood, because most lunar Scorpios probably had a mom who was very manipulative. You know, she would use manipulative tactics to get her lunar Scorpio child to do things the way that she wanted them to be. Like, say, you know, if you wear stuff like that, it's gonna give you a rash, it's gonna do this to you, it's gonna do that. And although it's not going to do anything, it was just a manipulative way to get the child to operate in the way that the mother wanted the child to operate. So lunar Scorpios, at a very early age, they learned the art of manipulation, okay? So they can be very manipulative in relationships, trying to get their partners to do what they want their partners to do. Lunar Scorpios in relationship can be very controlling in a sense, because they want to protect their investment. Again, they want to protect what they feel like belongs to them, because now you belong to them because you laid with them. This is a soul tie. And this is where the difficult part comes in for lunar Scorpios. A lot of times they are left to deal with their emotions alone, because they're not the type of people to really just, you know, publicize what they're feeling, you know, because they're very private people. So they'll be in their home or alone within themselves, and they're sad and they're dealing with these emotions alone, because they don't understand why the people that they've chosen are just running away from them, or they're just not reciprocating the same type of love that they're given to them. But the thing is, lunar Scorpios, is that you guys can be a tad bit too intense, and you require so much. And it's like, it's just like, some people don't want to feel like they're caged in, and they don't want to be possessed. They just want to coexist with the person that they're in a relationship with. And I know you guys really feel like you can't control this energy, but you have to find a way to control this energy for the sake of your own relationships, so your personal relationships with other people, so that you can actually build these strong bonds and have these long-lasting type relationships that you crave for. One thing about lunar Scorpios are they're very loyal. They're extremely loyal. They're like one of the most loyal signs ever. People look at Scorpio, if they see the sign Scorpio, and they automatically say, oh, they're whores. No, they're not. In all actuality, they're not. Think about the story the story of Hades and Persephone. Hades, ruling Scorpio, yes, he actually kidnapped Persephone, and he took her to the underworld, and he made her his wife. Yeah, he took her in a very aggressive type way, a manipulative type way to make her his wife. But when he got her, he was so loyal to her. He is the only god out of all of Greek mythology that I've read about that has actually been loyal to his wife. Never, you know, cheated on his wife, and never took on other wives. So in all actuality, Scorpios actually carry that same type energy. If they want something, they're gonna go after it 100%. They're gonna do whatever it is that they feel like they have to do to try and get it, okay? But when they get it, they are going to really appreciate it and really be loyal to it, you know? And that's a really great trait that I find in lunar Scorpios. But however, lunar Scorpios, we can't do what Hades did, okay? We can't just go and capture the person that we want and take them and hold them as prisoners and make them abide by our rules and what we want, so that we can love them the way want to love them, right? But in all actuality, Lunar and Scorpio type people, you guys are really good people, and you are what people talk about when they talk about, I want this type of person in my life, da da da, but they don't want it with the intensity of the investigating them, you know, looking behind them, researching them, trying to find out all the information that you can possibly find out about them. Nobody wants to be researched like that. And I do know that Lunar Scorpios can be the type of people where they can actually keep track of the people they're in relationships with, or people they care about, or people they're interested in. They can actually research them. Like, they want to find out everything about them, and they're not willing to share a whole lot about themselves. So Lunar Scorpios, that's something that you guys got to really look into, and just, you know, pay attention to that, and just pay attention to the trends that has been occurring in your life, and see where you can actually make changes to try and help your situation. Another thing I've learned about Lunar Scorpios is that they actually do cry a lot. You know, they actually are very emotional type people. Like I said before, they're emotionally unstable. They feel that way because they know that they have this intensity inside of them that they really can't control, and like it's very powerful, because Scorpio is a very powerful sign. And even if you have great aspects come into this moon that are a little bit lighter, it's still that intensity there for Lunar Scorpios. It's just very hard for them, especially when it comes to trying to control the intensity. And that's the thing that kind of like kill a lot of relationships for Lunar Scorpios, is the intensity, the control, the controlling nature. It's like, it's just so big, it's just so powerful, and it just kind of like overtake the relationship. And I do find like they do cry a lot, because they do feel like in relationships they lose, or they're not getting what they need in a relationship. You know, they're not getting fulfilled in the emotional department from their loved ones. I do feel like Lunar Scorpios definitely need to pair up with other water signs, especially like a Pisces, because of the intensity, and Pisces will be able to absorb that. And I do feel like they actually, or Virgo, you know, actually a lunar Pisces or a lunar Virgo, I do feel like they'll be able to really, you know, kind of like work things out and just really find that good balance that they need to really be happy in their life. So overall, Lunar Scorpios, you guys are actually loyal people. You're really good with, you know, being a detective and investigating things and finding out what's really going on. So you're really good at finding the truth. I love with your entire soul, which is amazing. Most people cannot do that. But on the downside, you guys are a tad bit too intense and controlling. You guys come off as just being extremely emotionally unstable. You guys actually require so much, and it just seems that you guys are just a tad bit too clingy when it comes to relationships, and just a little bit too possessive in your relationships. But overall, Lunar and Pisces, you guys have the power to make things happen in your life. You just have to understand who you are, be aware of your actions and how they affect other people. If you're in love with someone, or you're in a relationship with someone, just kind of like let them know how you feel and what you require in a relationship. And if they're not willing to give you that, then of course, you know, you may have to kind of like learn to cut your ties early on in the relationship, rather than, you know, moving forward and just kind of like leaving yourself with a broken heart. Okay, but with that being said, you guys, that's all I have for you. Until the next time, I wish you guys so much love, peace, and so many wonderful blessings. Bye. Push your